Did you know the world's first followers of Jesus were actually kind of declared as atheists according to the rest of the world? Now, obviously they weren't true atheists, they believed in a deity, but they were so fundamentally and categorically different, the world didn't know what to do with them, so they kind of placed them over here and said, you don't believe in anything, right? Because no matter what religious structure it was, they all had similar kind of tenets, and whether it was a temple, a priest, or sacrifice, right? And so when people would come to the first followers of Jesus and said, hey, where's your temple? Where do you worship? They would say, hey, we don't need a temple. There's no holy place. Jesus is our temple, and he is everywhere. So wherever we go is the holy place. They would say, okay, well, where's your priest? Well, we don't have a priest because Jesus is our true high priest. Okay, well, what do you sacrifice? Where are your sacrifices? They say, well, Jesus was our final and last sacrifice once for all. We don't need to sacrifice anymore. And so people would just have their minds blown by that, categorically speaking. So they said, hey, you must not believe in anything. Now, that fundamental nature of Christianity being backwards, being upside down, and being so different from all the other world religions, we've completely lost, right? We are lumped in now in the Western world with all these other world religions, and they're seen very similar. Now, when I say religion, I don't mean institution, I don't mean church. Those things are great and beautiful, and community is awesome. But we need to juxtapose this kind of this what the society sees as religion, which is really what you have to do to get to God, what ladder you have to climb to get to heaven, whatever it is, and juxtapose that with, man, Christianity is upside down from that, right? All other world religions say this is what you do to get to God. Christianity says, no, you're an idiot, you suck. Jesus came down and got us even when we didn't want him. Religions are all about what you do. Christianity is all about what Jesus has done. I mean, I always think of a lot of world religions making this list of what you have to do, when Jesus is kind of like this eternal paperboy, right? That kind of comes to earth in this explosive manner and kind of declares yesterday's news. He declares, this is true, this is what's happened, it's your option to go out on the lawn and pick up the paper and bring it in and believe it, or to leave it out there and pretend like it doesn't exist. You can come under it or you cannot, but it's news. It is good news. It has already happened. It is true. It is fact that God in the person and work of Jesus has come and brought restoration to all things, has brought new life and new creation. Do you see it like that? Is the question. And so I don't know whether you are a Christian or if you're not, but do you see that, man, Christianity fundamentally is about what God has done for us, because that produces totally different dynamic than anything else that we like to follow. The other one just produces pride. Either you make this list and you do it, or it produces fear, thinking that God's going to throw a lightning bolt on you. But Christianity has this real, humble, confident joy because it depends on someone else. It is finished and it has been done. So do you follow that Jesus? Is that the Jesus you know? The last example I'll use is this, right? Because institution in church is not bad. Don't hear me say that. Community isn't bad, but religion is kind of like marrying the institution of marriage, right? Have you ever thought about it like that? Like, religion is having these boundaries and these rules and these institutions, but there's no person, there's no intimacy, right? You don't marry an institution, you marry a person. Now, Christianity is you have intimacy with your Creator. There's oneness. It's brought back into unity and restoration. Now, boundaries and rules and the institution of marriage is around that, right? But the bullseye is intimacy. A lot of people marry Christianity and there's no Jesus. And so that's what I'm trying to get at. Do you follow Jesus? Do you let his grace and what he has done kind of push you forward into growth? Or do you have this really bad worldview of, man, hopefully I can get there one day and maybe he'll love me if I'm good enough at the end of time? So please know that, like I say in the poem, religion says do, Jesus says done, and that is good news.